So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. So I should tell you all that this will be the final branches lecture for this club year. So this year, this lecture series has been great, and so this final lecture will be about wildlife sanctuaries of Sri Lanka, right? So before we start off, just want to tell you all that let's make this a interactive session, right? Just with not just me and Sihal talking, with y'all talking and giving your opinions, giving your ideas, or talking about experiences, right? So yeah, we get started. So before we get into any detail, we'll go through the contents of today's lecture first, right? So first of all, we'll give you all a small introduction about wildlife sanctuaries, what they are, and stuff, right? So after that we'll give you all a brief history lesson about wildlife sanctuaries and stuff, and what they are now. So after that, we won't be explaining every wildlife sanctuary, because that's impossible. We'll explain to you all about a few wildlife sanctuaries that are in Sri Lanka right now, the most well-known ones, right? And finally, we will talk about why they are important to us and how we should preserve them, and how they are important to our culture and for society, right? So wait, first of all, am I audible to you all? Can someone unmute?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Right, thank you. So for the introduction, okay, can someone answer this question? What are wildlife sanctuaries? So there are no wrong answers here. Just know that. So what are wildlife sanctuaries, Mali? If you all have any idea, you all can unmute and tell us.
Places where wildlife is exhibited to the people.
Yes, a part of that answer is correct. Anyone else? Thank you, Mali. Anyone else? No. Take as you know. So
Is it a place where wild animals can roam freely, but people also can see?
yeah, you can say that, but not that answer is not 100% correct, but you can say that also. So the proper way to define a wildlife sanctuary is on your screen. Protected areas implemented mainly to protect and conserve endangered species on land. So if you are giving a textbook answer, this is the proper way to define a wildlife sanctuary. Okay.
Okay, Aya.
Right. So okay, before we move on, can you all name who these animals are? It should be easy for y'all.
Sloth bear, leopard,
Right. Thank you. Very good. So the history of wildlife sanctuaries in Sri Lanka. Right? Now, okay, can you all tell us what you all know? Any trivia that you all know about this topic? If you all don't know, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So history. So the first wildlife sanctuary found in Sri Lanka was found in Mihintale in Anuradhapura, right? So I hope all of y'all have been to Mihintale, right? It's a very historic place for Sri Lankans, and it's a big part of our culture. So yeah.
Aya, how did they find it?
So that place, so as you all can see, that place is about 2,200 years old, right? So basically that place, that sanctuary was built by King Devanampiyathissa in that time period. So yeah. So
Is it still there?
yes, it's still there. Yeah. So actually this sanctuary is also considered the first wildlife sanctuary in the world. So we should be proud as Sri Lankans that it has survived this long, right? Without it being destroyed by various people for various reasons.
Is that wildlife sanctuary still there?
Yes, Malik, still there. Right. So yeah. So basically, if you all have any questions, just ask. Right. If you all can't unmute, just put it in the chat so that everyone can see. So these are some pictures of that place, right? And this is King Devanampiyathissa. He's the one who built this place. Yeah. Sihal.
So normally we'll talk about a few places, few wildlife sanctuaries of Sri Lanka. We have some examples for you. Yes, Vineth, let's move to the next one. So before that, in Sri Lanka, there are about 501 protected areas or wildlife sanctuaries, and it takes about 1,767,000 hectares in total area, and it is about 26.5% of the total area from land in Sri Lanka, which is, I mean, huge number, right? About a quarter from the country. Yeah.
Aya, how did they count the protected areas?
So there are departments that focus on these things, right? There are two departments in Sri Lanka that focus on wildlife sanctuary, wildlife conservation, and any related topic. So they do these researches and stuff. So that's how they find.
So let's start with a few examples. So we have a few facts on a few wildlife sanctuaries. So once we tell these facts, we also want you all to tell us what you all know as well. So let's start with Sinharaja rainforest. So Sinharaja was named as a wildlife sanctuary in the year 1970, and it consists of an area of about 8,000, I think 8,864 hectares. And a special fact about Sinharaj is there are about 50% and 60% each of endemic animals and plants, which is so Sinharaja area 8,864 is small compared to like wildlife sanctuaries like Yala or Vilpattu. So having 50% and 60% each of endemic animals, it's a special fact, right? So has anyone been to Sinharaja? Any of you? No, okay. So if you all get the chance to go to Sinharaja, make sure you all go. And if you all have, do you all any other facts on Sinharaja other than this?
Other than the three facts on your screen, do you all want to share any experiences or thoughts about the Sinharaja rainforest with your club members and batchmates?
Sinharaja is a rainforest.
Yes, Madhu, thank you. Yeah, anyone else?
It's a natural wildlife sanctuary.
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
So are there artificial wildlife sanctuaries?
Not
So
really
there
artificial,
are no,
not
so
all.
so it's like this. There are no wildlife sanctuaries made, right? So they improve existing wildlife sanctuaries. So if you all
Existing
have
areas
2 trees, they
and they made
plant
it
another
into
10
protected
trees.
areas.
I had the zoos go under artificial wildlife sanctuaries, man-made.
Um, I don't think so. I'm not really sure about that. We'll let you all know. So shall we
Vineth,
move on?
let's move. Yeah, let's move to the next one. So let's talk about Udawalawe National Park. So Udawalawe was named as a wildlife sanctuary in the year I think 1972 and consists of an area
Yeah. So while Sihal comes online, so this was named as a wildlife sanctuary in the year 1972, right? And it has an area of 30,821 hectares, right? Sihal, are you back?
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll continue. So there are about 500 species of animals recorded in this sanctuary, which is amazing to see, right? Yeah. So has anyone been to the,
Yes, I.
so do you have anything to say other than these 3 things on the screen, right? So if you want to share anything with your friends, you can share. Okay, take that as a no. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, can you all hear me now?
Yeah. We can.
Hello. Okay.
We can.
So let's move on to Maduroya National Park. So it was named as a wildlife sanctuary in the year 1983 and has an area of around 58,849 hectares and consists about more than 100 species of birds itself, right? So that's a really quite a huge number of bird species. So yeah. So other than this, does anyone have any other?
Madhurua, where is it? Where is it situated? Are you?
So Maduroya is spread across the eastern and Uva provinces, man. So like around Madakalapur, yeah, and Trincomalee, yeah. Does anyone else have any other facts they like to share about Maduroya?
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, most of you all know
So
what this is.
yeah. So talking about Yala was named as a wildlife sanctuary in the year 1938, and it has an area of 97,880 hectares, which is the second largest in Sri Lanka. And the special fact is it has the largest leopard density in the world, which we can proudly say as Sri Lankans, right? Yeah. So I think most of you all have been to Yala. I think you don't have to ask that also. It's that famous, right? So anyone has any facts about Yala? the fact that
In Yalaya, they name the leopards now, like
yes,
with different names. How
Yeah.
do they know who is this and who is that?
That actually only don't
Yeah.
know
So
that.
so
We are not-
we actually don't know how that happens. So guessing it's something like, so if you have two dogs, you can recognize those two from the characteristics, right? So if one has 1 year
Yes, sir.
shorter, you can
But
recognize that.
what if the dogs are identical?
Yeah. So that you can do that, right?
Even
you're
if
saying
they are
they are the same
identical,
species.
there are like few few features, like in the skin or whatever, to
Are you
differentiate
can
the
there
two.
be tracking influence?
Yeah, there can be tracking influence. I don't think they use those in Sri Lanka because they are very, very expensive, and Sri Lanka doesn't have the budget to do that. So I don't think they're doing that, but if they're doing, it's amazing. Yeah, we move on.
Okay, so let's move on to Wilpattu National Park. So Wilpattu was named as a wildlife sanctuary also in 1938, and it is one of the largest national parks in Sri Lanka with an area of 131,667 hectares. And it is I think the second oldest. It is the oldest national parks in Sri Lanka, and Yala actually is the second oldest national park. Yeah. So has anyone been to Wilpattu?
Yes, I.
Yes.
Yes, I.
Good. So do you all have any experiences to share with us about Wilpattu?
If an elephant attack you, you can talk about it, no problem. Doesn't have to be
Vilpattu is the largest, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Mali. Wilpattu is the largest.
Okay.
right. Then we move on. Yeah, so that's all the wildlife sanctuaries we're going to talk about today, because otherwise it's going to get boring, right? So this is a map of the not all, most of the wildlife sanctuaries in Sri Lanka right now, right? So if you all want, you all can take a screenshot of this, and you all can do some research on the internet, or you can read books or whatever, and gain some knowledge about wildlife sanctuaries, right? So yeah, we'll move on. Right. Okay, so this one I need you all to answer. We will be answering at the end. Okay, so this is the last section of the lecture, right? So we need you all to answer this. What do you think are the uses of wildlife sanctuaries for, not for us, not only for us, but for animals as well?
For animals
They
like freedom?
One at a time. Tariq?
Freedom, for animals?
Yes, correct.
That's true.
Animal needs freedom, wildlife sanctuary delivers. So,
And for us, entertainment?
yes, but yeah, you can, yeah,
Conservation of animals.
definitely. All of these answers are very
Protection of
yeah,
endangered species.
primarily.
Protection of wildlife, especially like endangered species.
Right, yes. That's actually one of the main reasons wildlife sanctuaries are created or named. So yes. Yeah, anything else you all want to talk about?
Aya, could you please go back to the previous slide?
Yeah, sure. So okay, Mali?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so before you go forward, is anyone else? So there are 51 people in this room, in a waiting room. Sorry, meeting, not waiting room. Sorry. So
Yeah, I think
Yes.
Nakib has raised his hand. Do you have a question? Mal.
Yeah, is wildlife sanctuary safe for both humans and animals?
yeah, so this is
Yeah,
the thing. If you like to spectate, yes, but to go inside and touch the animals or feed them or anything, I don't think that's the best way to go. You could lose your hand or you could lose your life, and it's no one's fault. It's just yours. So yeah, you can. I think so. Not all wildlife sanctuaries are the same. So some places like Yala, you can go on safari and stuff. But there are some places that you can't do that either. You can just, yeah, I don't think you all can go inside to some places. So yeah. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Right. Does anyone else have anything else to say in regards to why we need wildlife sanctuaries?
I don't know how to say it, but like for professional like journalists, like they have to like they go
Right.
and
Yeah. Journalism.
Yes, exactly.
So
Yes.
journalists are the reason that places like Yala, Singaraja are famous around the world. So they go in, they do research for months, years, I don't know, and they publish their articles on their newspapers or their blog sites or whatever, and people read those, and actually foreigners they get really involved, and that's the reason places like Yala or Singaraja are famous around the world, right? So yes, that's also another
What
important
is the
factor.
most protected wildlife sanctuary in our country?
I think it's Singharaj. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, we'll let you all know, man. Right. Anything else you all want to know before we end this? Right. Okay. See how we move forward.
Yeah, that's it.
So, as you all said, these are very
Yeah.
basic protection for all the endangered species from potential threats. It's basic stuff, and yeah, this is something you all didn't bring up. We'll talk about that. So, preventing possible conflicts between man and wild. So, we know that conflicts between man and wild is almost too common in our country, right? So the most well-known one is the human-elephant conflict. So research has shown that we Sri Lankans share 28%, more than 28% of our land with elephants, which is the highest in the world. No other country shares that much land with one individual animal, right? So 28% is massive. So when that happens, it tends to create problems, and it's not. I don't want to say it's no one's fault, but most of the time it's the human's fault, right? So when they go and cut trees and build houses or buildings or whatever, the elephants feeding ground or where they hang around, it gets disturbed, so they don't like it, so they attack. And so basically it's not good for both parties. Yes, one person has raised his hand. Yes, Madhu.
Yes, I Shafiq here. So
Yes.
how do humans get punished?
How do
Ayya,
human gets punished as in like by the
so
law?
if they get caught. Ayya, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they get caught harming the wild, how do they get punished?
Yeah. So this is the thing. So there is no such thing as how do I say? So you don't get punished.
Are there death penalties in a
Do
country?
they go to jail?
So no, so it's like this. So wait, if you go and do any human activities like cutting trees, hunting, or any other stuff like that in wildlife sanctuaries, yeah, there is a penalty, but I don't think it's jail time. It's not jail time. It's, I think you have to pay a fee, or yeah, you have to pay a fee. It's not much. So but there is no such thing as death penalty. There's no such thing as death penalty for doing that sort of thing. So yes, and so that's only for named wildlife sanctuaries. You can hunt anywhere else, right? So if you go to Singaraj and hunt, it's illegal. But if you hunt outside Singaraj, it's not illegal. It's like that.
Ayya, small question.
Yeah.
Ayya, is it ethical to hunt animals? Like, I know it's illegal sometimes, but like as you mentioned, in other places where it's okay to hunt, is it ethical to hunt?
So this is right. So when it comes to being ethical, there is no such answer. Yes or no answer. No. You are right. So yeah.
So I so basically, like, if you have nothing to eat, hunting is justified. But like, if you're hunting for sport or fun, it's not that ethical, right?
No, it's not. You don't kill someone for fun.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
but yeah. So this is yeah. So if you don't have any food, you can survive through a vegetarian diet. You don't have to kill. But under the circumstances,
But
it
Ayya,
depends.
if all the humans be vegetarian, how can will herbivores grass to eat?
So I didn't say all humans have to be vegetarian. So yeah, I didn't say that.
Okay, Ayya, okay, Ayya. I think I misunderstood. Sorry.
Yeah. Any other questions like that? Yeah, so I was talking about the human elephant conflict in Sri Lanka. So yeah, it tends to create problems when you share so much land with elephants or any other animal, right? So basically it's not good for both parties. I don't have to tell you this, you all know this. Both parties get killed, elephants get killed, humans get killed, and it's a lose-lose situation. So there has been a lot of methods to stop it or reduce it, but it hasn't been effective until now. Yeah, so I think the only stable method was the electric fence, but I don't think that's that effective either. So yeah, and it cost a lot of money. So that's a problem. Yeah, until now there is no proper solution, but we hope that before it's too late, we find one, right? So yeah, as you all said, the journalists do research, and Sihal, you have anything to say?
Yeah, so Mali talking about the animal conflicts also. So even with wildlife sanctuaries, like animal conflicts in Sri Lanka is a bit of a problem, right? So imagine without wildlife sanctuaries, how much of a bigger problem it would be, right? So only because of wildlife sanctuaries, we have reduced the amount, like a chance of a higher conflict rate. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have reached the end of the lecture, Maldi. Do you all have anything to ask one last time?
Are zoos good or bad?
Sorry?
Are zoos good or bad?
Zoos are zoos good or bad? Very tricky question. There is no correct answer for that either.
I mean, it
So
swings
some people
both
can say
ways,
yes.
right?
It goes both ways, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Aya,
Yes.
Yes,
as
ma'am.
a part of the Wilderness and Wildlife Protection Society, do you think we can take any measures to prevent the possible conflicts between man and wild?
Sorry, Mali, can you repeat that question?
As a part of the Wilderness and Wildlife Protection Society, do you
Yeah.
think we can take any precautions or actions to prevent the possible conflicts between man and wild?
So as students,
As a school club, right? So what we can do mainly is to promote projects to give an idea of how we can prevent these kind of issues that are caused in the wild. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, as a school organizer, there's not a lot we can do. It's basically awareness mainly. So we have done so many projects this year, and through these lectures, the 33rd lecture of this series for this year. So even through these lectures, we are promoting that, we are teaching y'all, we are explaining to y'all why we should do this, why we shouldn't do this. We have brought professionals for these lectures. So yeah, this is the we are doing the maximum we can do as a school association or a society, right? So y'all should be proud that y'all are a part of this club, and that you're being a part of something good, right? Yeah, so before we wrap it up, any questions, any last minute questions? Anything is fine, Mal. Right, we take that as a no, and thank you for joining, Maldi.